This week, we take a look at the current state of the salmon market as the Chum run in Alaska shows signs of another disastrous season, and Bristol Bay Sockeye harvest continues to come in strong. Starting with sockeye, fishermen in Alaska have already harvested over 40 million fish, where the pre-season forecast called for 46.5 million fish. As we move past week 28, which has historically been the peak harvest week for sockeye in Alaska, the volume of the harvest remains centered around Bristol Bay and the Alaska Peninsula. Latest updates are that sockeye are coming in smaller, with 2021's average size currently at 4.5 pounds per fish compared to 5.1 pounds in 2020. Moving on to the market conditions, and it's been an exciting week for 2 to 4s and 4 to 6 pound headed and gutted sockeye selling quickly at prices higher than list prices. Although we are hearing rumblings in the marketplace that sockeye is available at lower prices, processors who are also buying on the open market advise this is not actually the case. Even with more 2 to 4 pound sockeye becoming available in the next few weeks, we do not expect downward pressure on pricing anytime soon. Recent consolidations of plants in Alaska have created more financially stable processors that no longer need to dump inventories like in previous seasons. As well, there are no carryover inventories of sockeye from 2020 or 2019, leaving the market bare, which we predict will bring a strong and stable sockeye market moving into 2021 and the 2022 season. In addition to this, as Pacific salmon in British Columbia, Canada continue to be in a state of decline with some runs even on the verge of collapse, we would not count on any sizable amount of sockeye from Canada, as the government recently announced significant commercial salmon closures for the 2021 season.
We'll use a Teflon pan, heat it to medium, a little olive oil. This time I'm using the tail piece. You want a mild sizzle with salmon at all times. I'm looking in my fish window again, and when I can see that the heat has moved almost halfway up, I will flip. You can also see into the interior of the fish in those little fissures on top, visibly raw on the inside, but this time I'm going to deliberately undercook it. Out it comes. Let it rest a sec, and here you can see it flaking instead of crumbling. My wife would call that undercooked. I'd actually call it perfect.
Moving on to Chum salmon, and the run in Alaska is starting to show signs of another disastrous season. 15.2 million chum were forecasted to be harvested this summer in Alaska. However, as we move past what is historically the peak harvest week for the species in Alaska, just under 4 million fish have been harvested. If the run has already peaked, total Kita harvest this year will be far below the 5-year average, although it may still exceed last year's harvest of 8.5 million chum. Echoing the same dire situation for salmon as BC, we would not anticipate any sizable contribution of chum from Washington, Oregon, or California, where in 2020 only about 500,000 fish were harvested from the 3 U.S. states and 1 Canadian province. The only relief for chum will come from Russia that forecasted a harvest of 93,500 metric tons of chum salmon this season. Last year, Russia produced just over 80,000 metric tons of chum from 26.7 million fish. And although Japan was able to harvest 17.5 million chum in 2020, most of their catch remains for domestic consumption. Our recommendation is to secure new season salmon inventories as they become available. If you hesitate, you will most likely lose it or end up paying more. A secondary recommendation is to look at alternative salmon products with better availability. This leads to one of the best offers we have right now on Tradex Live, that is 3 to 4 pound premium quality Norwegian Atlantic salmon fillets for only $6.45 per pound, FOB New Jersey, and is a fantastic deal for the market. This product is great for refresh, bunkers, and for any sushi sashimi customer. Contact your Tradex Foods representative as soon as possible to secure these. If you are not already, be sure to subscribe to our 3-Minute Market Insight using the sign-up form below to keep tuned in to all upcoming market insights. Thank you for joining me for the Tradex Foods 3-Minute Market Insight. This has been Rochelle Ryerson reminding you to stay safe, buy smart, and eat more seafood.